plate right now. He'll be in right. So is Ellis Burks, the Red Sox center fielder. Tony Pena will be doing the catching, batting 8th, and Luis Rivera at short, batting 9th.
The Red Sox pitcher tonight, Dennis Oil Can Boyd. You see his numbers with Montreal make that the Ranger pitcher. He used to be a Red Sox pitcher. Dennis, last outing, had a shutout against San Francisco and struck out 8. Catcher tonight is young Ivan Rodriguez, 19 years old. And the defense for the Texas Rangers, Steve Buechele. He's only made 2 errors all year, 1 in his last 70 games. Houston, Franco, and Palmeiro. And in the outfield, Dean Palmer has struggled defensively. Gonzalez and Sierra.
And Oil Can Boyd, who got here at 2 o'clock this morning to Texas, is ready to go back in the American League against Wade Boggs, his former teammate, and misses up high. Ball 1. 4 of the top 10 hitters in the American League are in this game tonight. You're looking at the number 5 best hitter in the league going after yet another batting title, and he's got a real shot at it. Boyd misses outside for a ball. Allows 2 strikes. Oil Can Boyd, 76 and 70 lifetime. 6 and 8 with Montreal this season. 3.52 earned run average. A lot of memories from his years with Boston, and the friends he had on this team is this Wade Boggs is at the plate right now. Oil Can Boyd, the hope of the Rangers that he will fill in that number 5 spot in that starting rotation. 2 ball, 1 strike count. And Boggs right back. And the can. It's the first out. Rain went through here about half an hour ago. Very light shower, and I mean very light. Wind blowing out towards center field right now, but it has been alternating right to left or straight out to center. See overcast skies. 87 degrees right now. Humidity at 46. Rather comfortable right now, actually, as the sun had been covered by clouds for a good deal of the afternoon, so not that overpowering heat you're so used to this time of season here in Texas. And that will bring up Jody Reed. Takes the pitch inside for a ball. See the numbers for Reed. Not a power hitter, moves people around, will get on and score some runs. Ken bunt down to third, foul. Buechele was moved in against him. Well, Ken Boyd has never pitched against the Boston Red Sox, going from the Red Sox over to the National League of the Montreal Expos. So his first chance to go against them. You see what he did with Boston in those years. Those were his numbers there. He was kind of surprised that the Expos got rid of him. And he may be here for no longer than this year, Dave. He'll probably move back to the National League if he has his way.
Well, he says he likes the National League. Faster pace, and he likes to hit. We'll see, though. I think Oil Can will go where the Bucks are, whether it be American or National League.
And a winner. He can help the Rangers move along to some kind of a championship. Then it may make a real difference. Vote of confidence today for the Red Sox manager Joe Morgan. John Harrington, one of the owners, saying we're not thinking about making any managerial changes. Any changes we're contemplating deal with our personnel on the field. That one to shallow left. Houston, the shortstop, called off. Good play by Palmer, the left fielder. 2 down. Let's check back with John.
Budweiser takes you now to New York. That's Mel Hall facing Eric Hansen, and little question about this one. Steve Saxon's on Mattingly aboard. He just gave it a look. Hansen knew it was gone from the time it left the bat. The Yankees up 3-1 now in the 4th for Hall, his 14th of the year. Back to Gary and Dave.
Carlos Quintana with 2 down and nobody on, the number 3 hitter in the lineup for the Red Sox. The quiet Q has continued to make noise with his bat, trying to find a place for him to play. He and Mo Vaughn both hitting the ball well, so Quintana's had a chance in the outfield as well as first base.
Carlos, one of the few guys swinging the bat well right now. The .302 average. He was 2 for 2 last night, so Joe Morgan decides to stay with Quintana against the right-hander, despite the fact he's been platooning Quintana and Mo Vaughn.
You can see the Red Sox hitters are taking pitches here in this first inning. Oil Can Boyd, throughout his career, has struggled in the first inning or through the first 3. After that, he gets tougher as it goes along. He's always seemed to be a pitcher who needs to get warmed up.
Well, Oil Can joins a club. The good news is that they've won 4 games in a row. The bad news for the Rangers, just about their entire roster has been sick with a flu that's been going through the club. Jeff Houston playing tonight because Mario Diaz out, but they have everybody else back in who would normally be there, but they've really been sick lately.
Spanked into center field for a base hit. Gonzalez bobbles, but Quintana will stay at first base, and there's the first hit of the ball game. As Quintana delivers the single off Boyd, he's on with 2 down for Jack Clark.
So Carlos continues to hit well. Last time the Red Sox won, we did the game last Wednesday in Chicago, and Quintana had the game-winning hit off Bobby Thigpen in the 10th inning. Sox thought that would give them some momentum. Broke a little bit of a losing streak, but since then they have dropped 6 games in a row.
Boy, they are being just shelled by the Boston press right now. A lot of the writers questioning whether or not this team cares, whether they've already folded their tents and are ready for the season to end. Jack Clark, the designated hitter. Great story on Clark and his dad in the recent edition of Sports Illustrated. No throw by Rodriguez, who has that great arm.
He draws the oohs and ahs, though, does Rodriguez from the fans. He has picked off 2 runners in the last 3 games. Picked off Mike Greenwell on Monday night, and then a home run immediately followed by Steve Lyons. That would have given the Sox 2 runs, but they only got 1 and lost 2-1. Roger Clemens, a tough luck loser on Monday.
See the smile down there by Carlos Quintana at first base while he was talking with Palmeiro. He was afraid when he saw the arm wind up. That one will be taken down low, and Boyd continues to fall behind the hitters here 2-0. Haven't seen that story in SI. Worth reading for a baseball fan on Jack Clark. The angry world that Jack built. And he does come across most often. He's an angry man. 2-0 delivery. That one way inside. Turns him back. 3 balls and no strikes. 2 things about Oil Can Boyd you'll want to note tonight. Some of you may remember. When he was pitching for the Boston Red Sox, see all that jewelry he's got around his neck? In a game right here in Texas, Bobby Valentine had the umpires make him take it off. And you see those sleeves? The sleeves that hang below the white jersey? Bobby Valentine made him take that off, too. Valentine told the umpires that both the chains and that colored jersey were disruptive to the hitter and were in violation of the rules. One of the first things Boyd said to Valentine, who picked him up at 2 o'clock this morning, is, I guess I get my jersey back, huh?
Carlos Quintana with a headfirst dive. Young Rodriguez smiling with the oohs and ahs of the fans. 19 years old, and he has taken this town by storm. He is hitting brilliantly. He has thrown out 9 out of 19 would-be base stealers, picked a couple of guys off. He is a terrific-looking young player.
Another Pudge behind the plate in the American League. Carlton Fisk goes to the White Sox, and Pudge is the nickname given to Rodriguez. 3-1, 2 down. Runner at first, breaking ball, off-speed curveball is in. 3-2 to Jack Clark.
Well, the Red Sox, Jack Clark. Check out the defense of the Rangers. They have the Ted Williams shift, reverse Ted Williams shift on Jack Clark. 3 guys on the left side of the infield. Although Franco does move over a step now, but they will play 3 on the left side.
What a hole. I mean, it's not a hole. There's nobody there. You have to have something to have a hole. There isn't anything between first and second base. 3-2 again. Runner goes with 2 down, and he walked it. Well, a lot of that is done by Jack Clark. He is always up there among the leaders. That's his 61st walk, 4th in the American League in 3 passes. He worked at the 3-2. Quintana goes down to second. Clark is on, and it'll bring up Mike Greenwell.
Well, you see Oil Can talking to himself a little bit. Gary mentioned if he had trouble in the past, it was early on. He is coming off a shutout of the San Francisco Giants. That was last Friday night, so he is pitching in his regular rotation spot. Had 8 strikeouts against the Giants.
Greenwell, the left-hander, with 2 down, 2 on. Chance to get to Boyd in the first inning for the Rangers. Foul back by Greenwell, strike 1. Rangers want to see Boyd have a good start here, obviously. Feel good about coming to the Texas Rangers. Mike Greenwell would like nothing better than to spoil it. Left-handed batters against Boyd this season are batting .253. Right-handers hitting .259. Boyd has given up 9 home runs thus far this year. Bobby Valentine says he's looking for somewhere around 100 pitches from him in this start. 0-1 0-1 delivery. Greenwell takes it away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Gary, one of the interesting things I think the Dallas press basically saying about Tom Grieve, well, finally, you know, the Rangers did something. They finally got a pitcher. I got news for you, folks. There aren't too many guys available out there for the right price. A lot of clubs would like to add pitching. First of all, there aren't a lot of available pitchers to get. And I think some of the general managers can tell you that.
Boy, that's the truth. Everybody involved in a pennant race virtually is looking right now for a starting pitcher or a left-handed reliever or somebody to shore up the middle. And you're right, Dave. There just aren't people around. Teams aren't willing to give that up. They're too hard to find.
I'm thinking maybe the only team in all of baseball that's not in a pitcher hunt may be the Toronto Blue Jays. See what the current starting 5 of the Texas Rangers has done. Bobby Witt did have a rehab assignment on Monday night. Witt's been out for over a month with shoulder problems.
1-2, 2 down and 2 on, and Greenwell, woof, nasty pitch right off the fist, drives it into his own dugout, scattering some of the troops. Dennis Lamp in there, I think, fielded that ball. Count holds at a ball and 2 strikes.
Getting back to the Toronto Blue Jays, not only did they pick up Tom Candiotti, but a youngster by the name of Juan Guzman started pitching very well for him. They don't expect to get Dave Steve back for a while because he has a herniated disc in his back. But the Blue Jays have a pretty solid rotation and a pretty deep bullpen. There aren't too many other teams in baseball that can say that.
23rd pitch of the inning, grounded to first, played by Palmeiro, goes to second. The easy play for him to get Jeff Houston. So Boyd struggles a little bit here getting behind the hitters, but the Texas fans won't mind it. Couple left on by Boston. The Rangers coming in. Lost only 16 this season, and they've had a very impressive start from Brian Downing, the designated hitter, who will be leading it off. Rafael Palmeiro will be at first base. The switch hitter, Ruben Sierra, starting in right field. Julio Franco, he'll be the cleanup hitter and at second base. Center fielder now and for the future, Juan Gonzalez. Steve Buechele, will the baby come tonight? He's kind of hoping so. He'll be at third base. Dean Palmer, another outstanding youngster in left. There's Ivan Rodriguez, the catcher, and the shortstop batting ninth, Jeff Houston.
32-year-old left-hander Joe Hesketh, 6'2", 170, makes his home now in Palm Harbor, Florida. He has survived both elbow and shoulder surgery in his career, has pitched well of late for the Red Sox. The veteran Tony Pena behind the plate tonight, catching for the Boston Red Sox.
Hesketh ready to go, and Brian Downing, the designated hitter, will take that one down low. He was the story the first half of the season. Among the top 10 hitters for much of it. Average has dipped, but hey, there's nothing wrong with that 277, especially for a guy who thought he was going to be out of baseball.
Not really. Brian Downing was sitting 389, then went through an 11 for 84 that dropped him down to the 277 range, much closer to his career average. But he was on fire in the early part of the season.
5 for his last 19, and he has power. And he'll take the pitch by Hesketh for the strike. 2-1.
Rangers lead all of baseball, the major leagues, in slugging percentage and on-base percentage. They are a terrific offensive team.
And they do well against left-handers. They're 15-10 against left-handed starters this season. They get this left-hander, Joe Hesketh, who's making just his 4th start, his 26th appearance. He has been a reliever primarily for the last 3 or 4 seasons. That one to short. Rivera. That'll take care of Downing. One away.
Take a look at the Red Sox defense tonight. Pretty much what you would expect. Carlos Quintana at first, Jody Reed at second, Luis Rivera at third, and a solid third baseman in Wade Boggs. The outfield of Greenwell in left, Burks in center, and Bernansky in right. Ellis Burks is from nearby Everman, Texas, outside of Dallas.
Rafael Palmeiro gets set to stand in here. Batting second in the lineup. One of the few who's had any number of at-bats against Hesketh. He's had a 3 for 6 mark in those limited times. So it's the first time Boyd has faced the Red Sox, his former team, and for Hesketh, virtually the first time that he has faced the Texas Ranger lineup. Very few have seen him before, or if they have, it's only been for 1 or 2 at-bats. He's appeared against them a couple of times in relief. He has no record lifetime against the Texas Rangers. The difference that ERA is. 1-0 delivery up the middle. That's the base hit, even though Rivera was moved over towards second base. So Palmeiro now has had 7 hits in his last 12 at-bats. He's on with 1 away.
Left-handers certainly don't seem to bother Rafael Palmeiro. Hit .339 against them last year, .314 this season. He just hangs in there. That front shoulder stays in. And he takes that ball right back up through the middle. So Palmeiro, who had the flu and missed the game Monday night, he's back in. And another flu victim steps in, Ruben Sierra. He came from his home yesterday. Game started. He was sitting at home with the flu, showed up at the ballpark and got a key pinch hit. Drove in 2 runs. So Sierra keeps that consecutive game streak alive at 174 straight.
308 average is 10th best right now in the league. Another one of the top 10 hitters. With a runner at first and 1 out, Hesketh on the outside corner for a strike. Sierra was being kidded today by his manager, Bobby Valentine, before the game, coming in last night like the hero, riding in to take care of the team. Mike Stanley said it was like the natural. Stanley was giving him a standing ovation as he came up the walkway from the dugout. And Valentine got on Sierra again today, but that's quite a performance in this day and age. You don't see a lot of ball players who do that.
It's really amazing how this club can have so many guys sick over the last 4 or 5 days and yet have won all 4 games. We talked about Palmeiro. We talked about Sierra. They've also been hit at shortstop in the outfield.
Towards short, Rivera, Reed, Quintana. They've got themselves a double play. Very strong first inning for Hesketh. Gives up the single, but he faces only 3 batters as Ruben Sierra hits into the double play after 1 from Texas. Taking the first pitch from Boyd up high, ball 1, and Boyd continues to fall behind. Tough way to pitch. Bruno struggling at the plate right now. He's had no hits in his last 14 at-bats. You see the numbers for him. The RBI still up there. Home runs not quite where he'd like them to be, but the average far from it. 2-0 delivery again. That's about the 4th 2-0 count we've had in the first 6 hitters here, with Brunansky taking the strike, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, Bruno, one of those terrific streak hitters. When he's good, he's very good. When he's bad, he really goes in the tank. And he's been in the tank most of this year.
And he takes that pitch at the knees for a strike, and the count goes to 2-2.
Oil Can is throwing 4 breaking balls to Brunansky. Larry Bernard, the pitching coach up in Montreal, said Dennis had to change. He was a power pitcher when he was younger. He's had to learn to be a finesser, but Bernard said he adjusted very well.
Rodriguez, the rookie catcher, with him. The 2-2 to Brunansky. Did he go? They want to check at first, and no. Mike Friley, the crew chief, saying he did not go around, and the count is full.
Boyd went 4 sliders in a row and then a curveball. Brunansky started to bite. Did he hold up? Boy, that's a close one. Riley said no. Tough to argue.
Well, they have the umpires on that one. So Boyd with the 3-2, and Brunansky towering fly to left. Palmer settling in under that one. Dean Palmer puts it away. That'll take care of Brunansky. Let's check in. John Saunders.
Braves and the Pirates in. Pittsburgh up 3-1. Blauser at the plate against Smiley out to left field. Jose Gonzalez playing for Bonds. Comes into third to John Wayner. Otis Nixon is tagged out, called out before the second tag. And it proves costly because Terry Pendleton, with the 1 runner aboard instead of 2, lifts this one, watch, just off the top of the wall. 2-run home run instead of a 3-run shot. Back to you.
Swung on and grounded by Burks to third. Nice play by Buechele, the expectant daddy. And Burks, 5 for his last 41 now as he went first ball hitting.
Steve Buechele, in many people's opinion, the best third baseman in the game today. He has made 1 error in the last 71 games. He has terrific range, great hands. That's a tough in-between hop. And Steve Buechele came in with a .993 fielding percentage. That's something you see with first baseman, not third baseman. He has played brilliant defense.
Leads the league in fielding percentage at third. Sign him.
Boo is another guy who's going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
Why would Ellis Burks go up when Oil Can Boyd has been 2-0 and 2-1 on virtually every hitter and swing at the first pitch?
Don't get me started.
2 down, nobody on. And here is Tony Pena, the catcher. Maybe one of the most unhappy ball players, and one of the problems is not that guy, but was Burks, who was up. He is just having a season where he's not happy about anything that's going on for inexplicable reasons. Pena's never unhappy. He just wants to go out and play. Give him the catcher's gear, give him a bat, and he produces. He has done that for the Red Sox. 2 down, nobody on, no score here as Boyd, this is down low again and immediately falls behind. 2 balls and no strikes.
Gary, you mentioned earlier on a lot of stories circulating. The Red Sox have cashed in their chips, but I've seen an awful lot of clubs with solid professionals go through a bad spell like the Red Sox have, and sometimes when you're not hitting at all, it does look like you're going through the motions because nothing's falling in. There's no activity on the base pass. You have to believe these guys are proud pros that really haven't cashed in their chips yet.
Left field corner, Palmer, will he have room? No. And the count is 2-1. I agree, Dave. The only trouble that you have is looking at that team, the $34 million or whatever they've spent in order to get the free agents, and you look at their lineup in one of those deals where you look at it on paper and you say, how can they not be picking up runs? Then you look at that.
Pretty self-explanatory.
The names and the numbers just don't seem to jive. Boyd, foul back again by Pena, and Boyd, as he's been doing, gets the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
What it really takes is all of a sudden to have 2 or 3 games where you come back late and win. The Red Sox this year have only won 2 games in their final at bat. Look at Roger Clemens sitting in the dugout. He's wondering where the offensive support is. He pitched a pretty good game here on Monday night, only to lose 2-1. But if you get a couple of late inning victories, all of a sudden the energy level changes. They've only had 2 last at bat wins this year.
Ruben Sierra in right field waiting. He puts it away. Tony Pena's retired, and Boyd comes on to retire the Red Sox in order here in the second. We'll go to the bottom of the second in Texas, no score. Ferguson, Jenkins, and Gaylord Perry. While Jenkins will be most remembered as a Chicago Cub and Perry as a San Francisco Giant, it marks the first time that former Texas Ranger players have joined the elite group in Cooperstown. And might this be another one? Wade Boggs, who we see here tonight, 5 batting titles to his credit, got a shot at another one tonight. Maybe a Hall of Famer there, maybe the Hall of Famer we just looked at on the bench, and Roger Clemens. If they score some runs for him, he certainly is on route to the Hall.
The Rocket Man back home in Texas.
Joe Hesketh, the left-hander, will go to work here against Franco Gonzalez and Buechele. Julio's got a 7-game hit streak right now. His .316 average, 7th best in the American League, and a leader in plenty of the categories. And Hesketh gets it in for a strike. Mentioning how well this team has played, Dave, against left-handers. They are .296 as a team batting average against lefties, .262 against right-handers. I think you wouldn't want to throw a lot of lefties.
Now, I don't think the Red Sox had much choice right now with the pitching the way it is. But Julio Franco, one of those guys who contributes, .376 against the left-handers. Ruben Sierra, also a much better hitter, hitting right-handed this year.
Bill Morgan has just found someone who's ready to make a start right now. Really disappointing when they can't win with Clemens on the mound, as they could not do in this series. So they'll try and see if Hesketh fill in that role. It's just his 5th start for the Red Sox over 2 years. That is a fair ball. Wade Boggs, great stop. Plenty of time to get Franco. Yes, he can play D2.
Well, at one time, the knock on Wade Boggs, no defense. People said that's what kept him in the minor leagues so long, but he's made himself a very solid third baseman. Gets to the backhand side, knows he's got time, throws it a little high, but Quintana able to make the play easily. So Wade Boggs has learned how to play third base, does it with a minimum amount of effort. He knows how to play hitters, gets the quick feet, makes the play.
That'll get the first out here in the second inning and bring up Juan Gonzalez. He too in an 0 for 10. Trying to get out of that one against the left-hander. Gonzalez has had only 2 hits in his last 20 at-bats. That covers a 7-game span. Over the last dozen games, he's seen that average dip from 303 to 283. But this kid can play. Good off-speed pitch by Hesketh, 101. Texas not only in the running, being 5 games out behind Minnesota starting today's play, but they've also got the future on the field. They've got some young players who are going to be here for a while. Bobby Valentine. A nice mixture of veterans and youngsters. 1-1 tap foul outside the third. See the American League West coming into tonight's game with the Texas Rangers and Chicago tied in second place. White Sox making a big run at it. Don't count Oakland out. California, Seattle, they're all there. The West continues a very tight race. 1-2. Taken down low. 2-2.
Gary, with the kind of youngsters the Texas Rangers have, particularly in the offensive end, if they can develop some pitchers over the next couple of years, this may be a franchise that could dominate for quite a while. 19-year-old Ivan Rodriguez. Juan Gonzalez hitting 21 years old. Ruben Sierra still just 25. Great future for this club.
Swung on and missed. Hesketh showing a nice assortment of pitches. That's his first strikeout, and there are 2 away in the second.
Hesketh will throw a sinking fastball, a slider, and a curve. This one, the quick slider, and Gonzalez can't catch up with it.
So Hesketh has the strikeout. 2 down, bases empty. Steve Buechele. Buechele's wife Nancy expecting any day, including today. A little concerned because she has also picked up a bit of that flu, which has just gone through this team and apparently started with the youngsters of the team and spread to the adults and taken home. Buechele, center. Burks coming. Little snow cone job right there, but he held on. So Hesketh has a 1-2-3 inning. He's faced the minimum number of 6 through the first 2, giving up just the single in the first inning. Palmeiro. Burks got a late jump on that. Plenty of time to catch up. Thank God for big whips. And the can is looking for his first strikeout. He'll take on Luis Rivera, the number 9 hitter, then Boggs and Reed. Oil Can Boyd had picked up 82 strikeouts in 120 innings with the Montreal Expos. Rivera fouls it back. He continues to have such impressive numbers for the Red Sox this season. For a couple of weeks, he had been leading the Red Sox in slugging, which seemed incredible. He's still second on the team in slugging percentage behind Wade Boggs. And great numbers. Of all the surprises the Red Sox have had, this has been a very pleasant one. No score here. That one to right center field. Sierra called off by Gonzalez. He's got it. And we're going to check in with John.
Mariners and the Yankees in a strange play. Pat Kelly at the plate. Comebacker to Eric Hansen. He goes to Edgar Martinez at third. They're trying to come home. Dave Cochran loses the ball as Kevin Moss is in. Alvaro Espinosa is in as well. And then Kelly, who was headed to third, gets the base he was going to, +1. He's in, and the Yankees are up 6-2 in the 5th. Back to you.
That was ugly. Here's Wade Boggs, 1 out, nobody on, and down low, ball 1.
Venture to say that won't make the Seattle Mariners highlight tape during the offseason.
I think everybody else is. That's the trouble. They'll have to watch it everywhere they look. Boggs against Boyd, takes that one inside, a ball and a strike.
Of course, Yankee Stadium has seen a few strange things. One of the stranger ones in recent memory was Carlton Fisk tagging out Bobby Meacham and Dale Berra as they were coming into the plate all at once. 2 guys were out at one play.
That's a great piece of film right there. Well, the board says it's 3-0. I thought one had been in there, but I called it wrong. I apologize to Gary Cedarstraw, the home plate umpire. 3 balls, no strikes on Wade Boggs, who's trying to catch Danny Tartabull of Kansas City. 333. Ripken right behind him, 332. Palmeiro, 331. Puckett, 331. And Boggs at 321. So the folks who look like they might run away, Ripken in particular, have all pulled back to reality. Boggs has got a shot at another title. And he picks up the walk right there. Wade Boggs draws his 60th walk, 5th most in the American League. And with 1 out, Boggs is on at first base.
Just the consistent numbers for Wade Boggs. He's 2nd in the American League in on-base percentage to Frank Thomas coming in, and Oil Can Boyd is going to try to get out of this inning by getting Jody Reed. See if he can get a ground ball here in turn 2. Red Sox, of course, have a history of hitting into a lot of twin killings. Don't play too much hit and run. Don't steal many bases. Next to last in the American League in stolen bases this year.
Reed flied out to left his first time up. Boggs at first. Just 1 stolen base this year for him. The Red Sox have not done well at home or on the road. They are 24-23 at home and 21-25 on the road. Their pitching has been almost exactly the same. 4.17 on the at home and 4.19 on the road, but not their hitting. This ball club, which hits 273 at home, hits only 249 on the road, and it's almost a run per game less on the road than at home. Going to struggle away from Fenway.
Yeah, the two guys you can look at for the major difference. Wade Boggs hits 398 at home, 254 on the road, and Tom Bernansky, who wears it out at Fenway, has really struggled on the road the last year, ever since he went over to the Red Sox. Great average at home, home runs, RBIs, but on the road, Tank City.
Jody Reed with a 1-1 count and 1 out. Boyd, throughout his career, has pretty much been right on the level mark as far as being a fly ball or ground ball out pitcher. Almost 1-to-1 in that regard. So he'll get his share of fly balls. 1-1 delivery to Reed. Slider. Outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Thing about the can, he has cooled his jets tonight. He has not struck anybody out. Maybe that's why, but the histrionics have been at a minimum. Oil Can, you see him talking to himself a couple of times tonight, but he says he's really matured over the last year and a half. Not quite as flamboyant, but he still wears his emotions on the sleeve, and a lot of fans really like that.
1-2 delivery. Taken down low. One of the things he said to Bobby Valentine about coming here, not only Texas and their positioning in the division, but this is about as close to home as he's going to get.
Ready and miss. That kind of brings up a sore spot with him from the standpoint. 1986, he was 11-5 at the All-Star break. Thought he had made the All-Star team. Had tickets for his entire family because the All-Star game was in Houston, Texas, which was close by. He didn't make the team, threw a tirade, and then things really began to unravel in Boston for Oil Can.
Reed is gone. Held onto. There's the first strikeout picked up by Boyd as the fans receive it here with a round of applause. John?
The ugly play, though, continues around the majors. Braves and the Pirates. Lloyd McClendon at the plate. This is a single, and Jay Bell is coming in to score. The throw comes home, but there's no chance. So back to second, and that one gets away. Bobby Bonilla comes in to score as well, and the Pirates open up a 6-3 lead now in the 6th. Back to Gary and Dave.
The red-hot ball clubs right there.
I tell you, we did the game on Sunday night, and the Bucks with the 3 big bombers in their lineup, Van Slyke, Bonilla, and Bonds, all going well at the same time for the first time. That makes double trouble for the enemy.
And we will be in Atlanta next Wednesday night.
The Buccos and the Braves, a rematch of tonight's game in Pittsburgh.
Looking forward to that. Last game we did in Atlanta, boy, I'll tell you, the crowd is rocking Fulton County Stadium. Boggs at first, 2 down. Quintana up, singled his first time up, fouls that one off. And Oil Can Boyd is ahead on the count 0-2 as Jack Clark flips the souvenir away.
A lot of the fans around the country forget, looking at those abysmal crowds in Atlanta over the last 5 or 6 years, that 1982, when the Atlanta Braves won the Western Division, they drew well over 2 million fans. So those people in the South like their baseball, and they certainly like it here in Arlington, Texas. Looks like pretty much another full house here. They have drawn well. They will set an attendance record for this franchise this year.
Averaging 31,500 here. Quintana right off home plate fouls that one off, and the count will hold at 2 strikes.
The Rangers want to get off the schneid. They are one of 3 teams in Major League Baseball that has not won a division title since you went to division play, that being 1969. The other 2 being the Seattle Mariners and the Cleveland Indians. Fans in Cleveland don't need a reminder that they're quite aware of it.
We'll talk about some of that 4th inning. George W. Bush will be joining us here in Arlington Stadium. The general partner of the Texas Rangers will drop by, we are pleased to say. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Quintana's gone. Boyd fooled him. Second strikeout as he gets 2 in a row here in the 3rd inning. So he's given up a couple of walks, has a couple of strikeouts, hasn't given up any runs. There you see Six Flags and the big tower. Six Flags Amusement Park right next to the stadium here in Arlington, Texas. And it is packed. I mean, there are all kinds of folks in this area enjoying Six Flags and the ball game. Great recreational outing for a family here. Dean Palmer talking about the youngsters the Rangers have. Here's a 22-year-old Bobby Valentine says has one of the sweetest swings he's ever seen. He's struggling a bit getting acclimated to the major leagues. That one to center field straight away. Ellis Burks, and there's one down here in the third inning. One away, Rodriguez and Houston coming up for the Rangers here in the third inning.
Certainly have talked about the Wild West and the number of streaks clubs have had. I think the Texas Rangers topped the bill. 14 in a row, immediately proceeded to lose 11 of 12, then a run of 7, then a run of 10 of 13, and now they're on a streak of 4 in a row. But in between, they've balanced it off with some losing streaks as well.
Ivan Rodriguez. Here is Pudge, their rookie catcher, and look at the numbers Rodriguez is putting up there. It won't be that easy all that way along, but it's legit. Played by Hesketh. The underhand toss to Carlos Quintana, and there are 2 down here in the third. They love him here, and they should. You don't find a catcher with the arm that he has very often.
The only problem with Rodriguez, both 1989 and 1990, he did have some shoulder problems in the minor leagues. That has to be a little concern because he has a brilliant throwing arm. Rangers just hope that that's all behind him.
Rodriguez gets the equipment back on. 2 down, nobody on in the third. No score. And with the bases empty, it'll bring up Jeff Houston. So a chance for Hesketh to go through the lineup the first time and face the minimum number of 9. He gave up a single in the first to Palmeiro, but got a ground ball double play to wipe that one out. And Jeff Houston takes it for his strike. You talk about flu-ridden. Talking to Houston before the game, 8 members of his family have had the flu over the last 2 weeks. It includes some nephews and nieces and parents. Himself fouled off. It's just gone through the entire family. That's how bad it's been. It's a 24-hour flu bug which just knocks you out.
I will be very honest with you. I always go to the various clubhouses and talk to the managers and the players before games. I did not go to the Texas clubhouse tonight.
I forgot and did.
Yeah, that's why you're sitting so far away from me tonight. You didn't know that,
why
did you?
You moved all the way across the booth here tonight. And Jeff Houston takes the fastball by Hesketh down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, no score. Third inning, Gary Thorne, Dave Campbell, Joe Hesketh. Looking for his 4th win of the season. He was 1-6 combined last year. 1-2 delivery. Inside corner. He got it. That's it. That's his 2nd strikeout, so he does go through the Texas order, facing only 9 for the first 3 innings. George Bush when we come back. Jack Clark leading it off, takes the first pitch, ball 1. The general partner of the Texas Rangers, George W. Bush, is with us here tonight. George, first, thanks for coming on board, and you got to be happy with the club's performance. You're in it.
We're doing well. Yeah, we've got late season acquisition pitching tonight that looks like it's exciting our fans. We're drawing well and are had a pretty bad slump after the All-Star break, but it looks like we're pulling out of it, and I think we'll be in the race.
How tough was it to pick up this guy?
Pretty easy. Grieve was out there, and we got the best general manager in baseball, one of them, and he was all over Montreal. They made it clear they were trying to move him, and Tom acted fast, traded some minor leaguers. Hope they're good, but we kind of given up on a couple of them, and really excited to have him. It fills out our starting rotation, as you know, and moves some guys back to middle relief who needed to be there.
And all teams need help in that department. 1-2 to Clark, breaking ball up high. You've got a new facility going up, which obviously you and the fans are excited about. Tell us about it.
Well, it's a $160 million project. It's going to be built right here on the site. The city of Arlington and the Texas Rangers have financed it jointly. It's going to be up in '94, and it's going to be the best baseball park ever built.
Gotta like that. They got him. Clark is retired. That's 3 strikeouts for Boyd. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
This is the architectural rendering.
Well, that's right. We're beginning to flesh it out. As you notice, at the very north side of the stadium, there's a Little League park. It's going to look like the Big League park, so that we're going to have games for Little Leaguers with the dream of coming to the play with the big guys. And it's going to be a fabulous stadium built for the fans, outdoors, on grass, baseball only. We're not going to share it with football.
What's that? What's that expressway?
Well, that's the new owners.
The Nolan Ryan Expressway. 1 down. Mike Greenwell. Well, let's get right into that. You got him signed.
Well, we did for only 12 years. We've got him signed for 2 years to play with us. Option years, our option. If Nolan wants to play, he'll play. And then we've got him for 10 more years on a personal services contract. The guy is one of the greatest baseball players ever, and he's a Texas legend. And so we decided to make sure he stayed with us, and we're really delighted to have him around.
Boy, there's not much more you can say about Nolan Ryan, I guess, than what's been said. You get to work with him on an obvious personal level.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable man. He's what baseball needs. He's clean, he loves his family, works hard, and for us 45-year-old guys, he is a pretty good inspiration.
He is that. 2-ball, 1-strike count. Boyd with 1 down, nobody on. Greenwell will foul that one off, and even the count up 2 balls, 2 strikes. You know, you talk about the money that had to be paid for Nolan Ryan and is paid for all the stars today. Is baseball going to come to the point where we see a cap of some sort like the NBA has?
Well, I'm not sure what the final result's going to be, but there's going to be a collision course with financial instability and rising player salaries. It's going to happen this year. Some clubs in trouble. We're trying to manage our way, make sure we don't get in trouble, but there's some real problems.
Greenwell will have that one fall in, played by Sierra, who will hold him to a single. So Mike Greenwell delivers a 1-out single here in the 4th inning. And for Boston, that will be their 2nd hit. Looked like an off-speed delivery that time. Take a look. Greenwell picking that one up over the middle part of the plate, but didn't get a lot of wood on it as the ball died going down the right field line. Sierra thought he had a play on it momentarily and then decided the better of it. Played it on one hop. Greenwell's got the single. And it'll bring up Tom Brunansky. Red Sox have stranded 3 thus far. It has been a huge problem for them this year. They've stranded more than anyone else in the league. They get them on, but they can't get them in. George, not to cut off that discussion because I think it's important for baseball. Personally, what do you think needs to be done?
Well, I think we need to make sure the players and the owners are on the same side of the fence. And if the pie grows, we all benefit. If the pie shrinks, we all don't benefit. And, hopefully there's a way that we can end any antagonism and pull for each other.
Runner goes, foul back.
I'm sorry the guy fouled that ball. Ivan Rodriguez has had a heck of a series of throwing out Mike Greenwell.
That's one of the few times you'll see Joe Morgan send somebody. Had him going that time on a apparent hit and run. Pretty good with Greenwell on and Brunansky 0 for his last 15. And Greenwell's taking a long look to see if he got the right side.
Well, we've had a good series. Ivan Rodriguez, this 19-year-old kid, I know you've talked about him, is a real inspiration to our fans. He's got a gun, and he's a wonderful person. He's got a great smile on his face. He looks like Tony Pena Jr. out there.
He does, doesn't he? 1-1 count, 1 away. Greenwell not going this time and has taken inside. Your farm system in good shape?
Pretty good. We've, of course, brought up Palmer, Gonzalez, and Rodriguez, which is a lot of talent to take out of the farm system. But we've got a fellow named Sandy Johnson who runs our farm system. We believe that he's about as good a spelling talent as anybody, or he and his scouts are. And we feel pretty happy with it. A little weak in pitching, but our pitchers are young and they're developing. But we're real happy with where we are right now.
If you've got those people to bring up, you've got a successful farm system.
You bet.
2-1 pitch. Hit in the air to left, not deep. Palmer coming on. Left fielder, look out. Caught by the shortstop. Greenwell back to the bag. Jeff Hewson, who should have been called off on that ball, somehow come away with it, and he's obviously saying to Palmer, I didn't hear you. And the 22-year-old just kind of walks away. You do the replay on this, George.
Well, this is a guy up from Oklahoma City. Hadn't played left field much, and obviously should have called Hewson off. Houston must not have heard him, and made a heck of a play, fortunately.
Good ball.
Well, when teams are going good, and when we got a streak going, we catch those. About a week ago, we'd have dropped that one.
So Hewson will have a word probably with Palmer when they get back. 2 down, Greenwell on at first base, and it'll bring up Ellis Burks, who grounded out his first time up. 2 down, no score, and Boyd misses down low for a ball. Concerned at all about the fact Oil Can Boyd says he wants to go back to the National League?
Not really. That's right after he said, I want to come and help Texas win the pennant. And he's here to help us win the pennant this year, and if that's what he chooses to do, that's fine. We're really focused now on the last couple of weeks in July, August, and September. For the first time in our club's history, we really do believe that we're going to win it, and that's what we're focused on.
You got the real shot at it. Are you satisfied? Are you set now, or are there any more moves?
I think Tommy Grieve is out there still moving around a little bit. We, of course, let him make all those decisions, and he's active, looking around, trying to find maybe a little niche in the marketplace to pick something else up, somebody else up to help us. But when Bobby Witt comes back, our 5 starters, Brown, Witt, Ryan, Guzman, and Oil Can, it'll be pretty tough for this division.
Any particular spot you're looking at you'd like to strengthen up?
Well, I think Tom is probably still looking for maybe a little middle relief. I'm not sure, but the marketplace is very funny. You know, you got to move prior to August 1st in order to make something happen. And we're very fortunate that Grieve was able to make the move on Oil Can as quickly as he did.
Boy, I guess lots of teams who would have loved to have picked up Boyd. Greenwell at first base, 3-1 count, 2 down. Boyd takes a stroll to the back of the mound. He looks as though he is really under control. He still has the fire and pizzazz. You can see it in his face. Well,
that's right. One of the questions that Bobby Valentine asked to some of our scouts that was watching Oil Can is, does he want the ball? Does he want to go out and pitch? And the answer was resoundingly yes. And that's, you know, he's had kind of a funny past, I understand, but the Oil Can, the 30-year-old or 31-year-old Oil Can Boyd is a tough competitor, and that's what we want on our team. And, evidently, he's bringing it to us.
Look at he pitch with all that jewelry on.
Well, he'll be in a heck of a contest for some of our other players.
I laughed when Bobby Valentine, who we were talking about before the game, told him to take that off, of course, in one game here when he was pitching for the Red Sox before. Now he's got it all back on again. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Greenwell at first, no score. 4th inning, runner goes down to 3rd. That is a fair ball rolling into the corner. Palmer after it with a runner going. Chance at the plate. Greenwell makes the turn. Palmer gets the relay, and there'll be no play at the plate. Mike Greenwell scoring on a double for Ellis Burks. Just inside the bag at 3rd. And the Red Sox have a 1-0 lead for Burks, his 34th RBI. Mike Greenwell picks up his 47th run scored. Take a look at this one. Shot right down the line and over the bag. Once it gets over there in foul territory, Palmer played that about as perfectly as he could, but with a runner going, that's the advantage of being able to send the runner in a 3-2 count. And on the 3rd hit, Boston has picked up their first run, and it is a 1-0 Boston lead. Now a runner in scoring position for Tony Pena, the catcher. Pena flied out to center field his first time up. 2 down. And takes it down low for a ball. Georgia drawing a lot of folks.
Yeah,
really made this a baseball stadium.
Well, it's fun, and you know, we worry about our fans a lot and talk to our fans through the media a lot, and are concerned not only about the product on the field, but what it's like to come to our ballpark and maintain a family atmosphere here. And the fans have responded well. It's another full house for us, and we're really, really delighted.
Tony Pena, what was that? Number 1 is a strike.
It's called defensive baseball.
Now, is that Tony Pena or what? Take a look at this. Talk about a free swinger. Whatever he thought it was going to be, it wasn't.
Price is able to get back up.
He thought it was going to ride in on him, I think, head high. It never did. Almost broke his neck. And the count is a ball and a strike. Smile about that after, but not right now. 1-1, 2 down. Runner at second is Burks. 1-0 Boston lead. Boyd got it in. Sierra in right. And that will do it. Got a run on a couple of hits. George Bush can stay with us. We'll ask him for another half inning. General partner of the Texas Rangers, and everybody wants to do this. Say hi.
Hi, Mom. Marvin. Mr. President.
I can't believe you did that. I heard, and they are home, huh?
Yes, I hope so. I hope they're watching us. Well, there he is. Yeah, well, that he tried to throw a split-finger fastball, and as you can see, it took 2 hops. Sorry about that one, Dad, but we just couldn't resist showing it again.
Blame your son for that one, Mr. President. Here's Brian Downing, the leadoff hitter against Hesketh. 1-0, Red Sox leading. You see the numbers as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. And the left-hander is into Downing. 1 ball and 1 strike. I guess mamas just always get the hello on television.
That's it.
It's just natural, isn't it?
Well, my mom was a baseball mother. She loves the sport. I grew up in Midland, Texas, and she was at every Little League game. And as a matter of fact, I was born in my dad's sophomore year in college when he was a baseball player at Yale, and she and I went to see many a game. She remembers them, I don't. Fouled
off. Speaking of Yale, where the president did play with the nickname Poppy.
Poppy, yeah, he's a pretty good player. Matter of fact, their team was second in the NC2As. There he is, Captain Bush. All field, no hit. Although he refutes that on occasion.
Harsh. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Get into this ownership, boy. There's no words minced. Even if your dad is president. 2-2 by Hesketh. It's all the way to the backstop. He turned around and looked at center field. He knows he just made every replay film for 1991. Watch this. Look where Tony Pena's set up.
Maybe.
This game's still got to be fun, doesn't it?
Oh, that's great.
See Gary Cedarstrom, the home plate umpire, never moved. 3-2 delivery. Gets it in there. Downing deep to left field. Is it fair? Goodbye. Home run. Brian Downing. Season for Brian Downing. That is his 10th home run and his 30th run batted in. Comeback player of the year.
Another blow for the old guys.
He's got great power. A leadoff hitter who could drive the ball out of the yard.
Good guy in our clubhouse. I tell you, he wants to win, and that's the kind of player you want to have around.
Was on the outside part of the plate, but he was able to get the arms out on it. Grounded down to first. Palmero will be out on the play by Carlos Quintana. 1 away, but this game is tied at 1-1. The second hit off Hesketh, and it came, remember, after he threw that ball to the backstop. Did he lose a little concentration? I don't know, but he got one to Downing that he'd like to have back. 1 away, and that'll bring up Ruben Sierra, hit into a double play his first time up. 1-1 ball game now. George W. Bush, general partner of the Texas Rangers, joining us here for this inning. And between innings, we were talking about the fans you've got here and the families you've got coming out. It's great to see.
Well, it really is. Baseball is a family sport. We got thousands of kids running all over our stadium. The real challenge in baseball is to not only make sure we all don't go broke, but to make sure that the fans can afford to come. You don't see a lot of little kids at pro football or pro basketball. It's because they price themselves out of the reach of the family.
The short, Rivera, side saddles that one. Close play, but he got him. Rivera's got an arm.
See, our business, as you know, is not only baseball, but it's the atmosphere here. And we throw the drunk people out. We cannot have grandmothers with granddaughters or grandsons being abused verbally by rowdy people. And so if they get out of hand here, they're out of here. And
I applaud you for that. I mean that sincerely. I think baseball really has to make that turn back to getting the families out here like this. And as I said to you, once you start that, once they start coming and know they can bring the kids, they'll be back.
You betcha. 2
down. Hesketh giving up the home run, working here to Franco. Well, since we only got one more out, if there's anything I haven't asked you wanted to comment on or say, please feel free.
Well, I appreciate ESPN. You know, you hear a lot of talk about ESPN, and it's bringing baseball into people's homes, and we and the Rangers like that. I'm a big fan of ESPN because this is America's sport, and the best way for people to realize it is to watch it on TV.
Hey, I love coming here. You probably have one of the most open ballparks that I've ever seen during the day. In fact, you see people around here all day long, souvenir shops inside.
Yeah, we want them here. This is a park-like atmosphere. We want people hanging around.
You got them doing that. 2-0 delivery. And that's taken for a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now all you got to do is win the big run, right?
Yeah, win.
Well, you're there.
We're there. We're hanging tight. We've endured 2 major slumps, and we're still battling back. We're really explosive offensively.
Still got half your games left.
That's right.
Against the Minnesota Twins, and you're beating them 4 games to 2 thus far. 2-1 delivery. 3-1.
And they're losing again tonight. It looks like 3-0.
Scoreboard watching?
All the time.
Great. Isn't that what it's all about?
My biggest problem is to make sure I can endure the losses without kicking the family dog, you know?
It's tough, isn't it?
No, it's tough. Live and die like our fans do.
Well, it's always one of the toughest parts of this job for management and for the manager. Grounded to second base. Jody Reed has got it. makes the play. The home run by Downing in this inning, and we sincerely appreciate George W. Bush coming to join us. George, thanks very much.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Great to have you here. There's Downing, who had the homer. He's tied this ball game up at 1-1 for an inning, and we are delighted to have you with us. Gary Thorne, Dave Campbell, ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball. We thank Dave for being so patient while George was on. We get Dave back in here. Where'd you go?
Coffee, my son.
Oh, okay. And Luis Rivera takes a strike.
I like that sign I just saw. Every sports fan's favorite network.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all.
You'll be seeing that again on ESPN.
It's called favorite with a P, but, you know, hey. Like that faucet.
Pfister, that's right. Great pitch. Boyd, a couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. Hesketh, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Boston won 3-0. The Rangers won 2-0. And we are in the 5th. Very well pitched game by Boyd and Hesketh. Rivera flied to center his first time up. Boggs and Reed will follow. 0-2 delivery. That is down the line. And right on the chalk on his way to second base. Luis Rivera. And he's got a stand-up double leading off the 5th inning. John Saunders.
Time now for Miller Highlights, Streaks, Peaks, and Valleys. Paul Molitor has struck out in his last 6 plate appearances, 8 of his last 11. Nolan Ryan Peking set the major league record, 545 straight starts. Hasn't had a relief appearance since July 1974. Tim Raines, 7 for his last 75. He's definitely in a valley. That's it for Miller Highlights, Streaks, Peaks, and Valleys. Back to Gary and Dave.
Thank you, John. 1-1 ball game here, but the Red Sox will threaten as they get the leadoff man on. That is the first time in the ball game they've had the leadoff man on base, and now Boggs has had a walk, grounded out, 7 hits, last 14 at-bats for Wade Boggs. Boyd got it in there to center field. Gonzalez coming, will not make the play. And he'll have to go to second base. It'll be a base hit for Boggs. First and third, nobody out. Rivera starting this off with a 2-bagger.
Luis thought this ball was going to go foul. He stayed at home plate quite a while. It's really got some good hook on it, but just like Brian Downing's ball, this one hits the chalk. Downing's hit the fair pole, I call it, or foul pole. Luis moves on to third base, and Bobby Valentine is on his way out to talk to Oil Can Boyd. Oil Can has thrown a lot of pitches in this game. We are only in the 5th inning, but his pitch count is in the 70s already.
They will get the bullpen active while they do that. John.
Jays and the White Sox and Jack McDowell facing John Olerud with nobody aboard. Pitch is right down the middle of the plate. Olerud turns it around to right field, his 12th home run of the year, as Toronto jumps in front. David Wells on the mound for the Blue Jays. It's 1-0 in the 4th. Back to Gary and Dave.
Rosenthal warming up, one of the 2 long relievers available tonight for Bobby Valentine. Boyd given up 5 hits. This will be his 80th pitch coming to the plate to Reed. Now, how do you play this one?
Well, the Rangers, the middle of their defense, is playing for the double play. They'll concede the run right here. With the offense the Rangers have, they figure they can concede a run here in the 5th inning if they can get a double play. Buechele could come home on a ball hit to his right or at him slowly.
First and third, nobody out. 1-1 game. Boyd's pitch is the slider away. 2-0.
You see, Joe Hesketh has been a lot more efficient than Dennis Boyd. It appears that the game plan of the Red Sox tonight was to take a lot of pitches early. Maybe they book on Boyd as he doesn't have the stamina he once had. He has had the problem with a blood clot, although he's taking medicine to correct that now.
2-0 delivery. Fastball came inside and he missed, and he's behind on the count now. 3 balls and no strikes to Reed, and he's got Quintana, the number 3 hitter, waiting on deck.
Some guys get a green light in this situation. I don't think Jody Reed will, though. He's a guy who can hit with 2 strikes on him. Joe Morgan's going to make Oil Can throw some strikes.
Boyd 3-0. Reed's done a good job driving people in, batting .282 with runners in scoring position this year. Takes the throw to third, walked him. Third walk by Boyd, and with nobody out, the bases are loaded here in the 5th inning. And Boyd's got himself in trouble. reminder, coming up Sunday here on ESPN, our exclusive coverage of Major League Baseball will be featuring these Boston Red Sox and Wade Boggs among the top 10 in hitting, and one of the great young stars of the game, Frank Thomas of the Chicago White Sox. 8 o'clock, exclusive coverage on ESPN, the Red Sox at Comiskey Park Garden. Nobody out. Carlos Quintana. Oh, no. Outside corner strike. Here's what he's done with the bases loaded this season. Red Sox with a real opportunity to do some damage in this one. Quintana singled in the first. Has been one of the 3 strikeout victims. Rivera, the lead runner at third base. Boggs and Reed. 408 lifetime hitter versus Texas. That's what Boyd's dealing with right here in Quintana. And he will step out.
Little conference here between Rodriguez and Oil Can. The Red Sox really looking to explode. They've lost 10 out of their last 13 ball games, and during that time they've averaged barely over 2 runs a game. With the kind of hitting the Red Sox have, folks, you know they're going to break loose against somebody, and Joe Morgan getting a little impatient, waiting for some of his hitters to get on track. This guy's done a pretty good job for him.
Carlos Quintana, how unusual is that he would have all those home runs on the road. 274 with runners in scoring position. He fouls that one off. Boyd goes ahead on the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
Well, Carlos, basically a line drive type hitter. You have to be able to loft the ball like Bernansky does. Tom, with that uppercut fly ball swing. That's the swing that's tailor-made for Fenway. Quintana swings down on the ball, tries to hit line drives to the gap. Surprising he hasn't found the range at least once or twice, though, at Fenway.
Just one of those quirky kind of numbers. Rivera not too far off third. Boyd working out of the stretch. Nobody out. The 0-2. Slider missing down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Middle of the order up for Boston. Jack Clark waiting on deck. By the way the batters are reacting, David, looks like that slider of Boyd's is a pretty nasty pitch tonight.
It's quick, and he'll throw the curveball as well. This is where Oil Can really wants a strikeout. He's been working for the ground ball most of the night, but he wants a strikeout here and then the double play ball to try to get out of this inning unscathed. So he's really working for the punch out here.
Timeout taken. Quintana just backing out. Gary Cederstrom working behind the plate. Mike Riley, Rick Reed, and Larry Young, the other umpires. Riley, the crew chief, here tonight. 1-2 count. 1-1 game. Bases loaded for Boston. Oh, he helped him out. Chased a bad pitch.
Well, he got that strikeout, and it wasn't the location of the pitch, but it was the change of speed. He really pulled the string on the curveball there, and Quintana, his eyes lit up. He jumped off the ground to try to hit this, but he really pulls the string on this curveball. It's up in the strike zone, but the motion really fooled Quintana, and he was way out in front.
Big strikeout. Quintana does not do that a lot. He's a power hitter, but he struck out only 36 times this season. That's 3 more than the number of walks he has. Now Clark. He has struck out and walked. Ball 1. Bases loaded. This is where the Red Sox have struggled all season. Remember, they have left more on base than any other team in the league. They've not been able to get people home. They have a .248 team batting average with runners in scoring position. Clark fouls it off 1-1. They also have hit into a lot of double plays, and that will certainly hurt when you get people on base. There are your leaders for the Grand Salamis.
A few of them in baseball last night, 4 of them to be exact.
Rivera's been waiting at third. Boggs is at first. Second, rather. Reed at first. 1-1 count. 1 out. Infield looking for 2. 2-1.
Boyd is not throwing many fastballs tonight. That time he tried to jam Clark with one, but has been throwing him away, away, and away. He tried to tie up Clark inside. Key pitch here. He doesn't want to go 3-1.
That's twice, Dave. He's come in pretty hard on Jack Clark.
Well, that's a setup pitch because basically he's been trying to throw him the breaking ball down and away all night. That just keeps Jack a little honest from leaning across the plate.
Clark, 2-1 to him. Ladder high burner.
Clark was looking away again and tied himself in knots on that one. Clark diving in and just ties his own arms up on that swing. He was definitely looking away after the inside pitch before, and you can see how he had to pull the arms in and try to hit it.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Can he get him? Pretty close. ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball, and a good one. 1-1 ball game. Top half of the 5th inning. Red Sox have lost 6 in a row. The Rangers have won 4 in a row. Gary Thorne, Dave Campbell. Delighted to have you with us on what has turned out to be a very beautiful night here in Arlington, Texas.
Well, if Oil Can gets out of this inning, he can thank his lucky stars that Jack Clark didn't hit that ball over the moon. He hung a slider right in the middle of the plate. But when a club is going poorly like the Red Sox are, they miss even the hangers.
Clark's done well against Texas so far. He's 10 for 29 against the Rangers this year. Down the left field line, no play. Count will stay. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The fans are already going to love this outing by Boyd. He's given you here in this inning the flashes of what the Red Sox had always hoped Boyd would be and what Montreal hoped Boyd would be. He's got the pizzazz. It was the question of effectiveness.
Well, he's had to learn how to spot the ball, be a finesser. He's always had pretty good control, but he used to have a great fastball to go with his off-speed pitches. Doesn't have the great heater anymore.
2-2 delivery. Clark, left field. It is deep. Is it a grand slam? Is it catchable? Palmer back off the top of the wall. Rivera scores, but the runners are late. There'll be 1 run scoring. That's it. It's a 2-1 Red Sox lead on one of the longest singles you'll ever see. It was this close to being a grand slam. Instead, it's a single and 1 RBI.
Wade Boggs got me caught between a rock and a hard place. He was halfway to third. Then he decided to go back and tag up at second base, and he was running back to second about the time Dean Palmer was jumping. Clark just misses. Boy, Jack got a lot of pitches to hit after he got 2 strikes on him. He gets a lot of elevation on this one. Let's see Boyd what his thoughts are. Stay in this ballpark, baby. But Palmer keeps going down towards the line, and this ball just over his glove. And Dean, not an outfielder by trade. There are a lot of left fielders that would have caught that ball, but he's an infielder by trade. They brought him to the big leagues and said, you're the left fielder.
They're still loaded. This time for Mike Greenwell, a 2-1 lead. Greenwell pops it up down the left field line. Steve Buechele will watch it go into the seats. Dave, that is a perfect example of why outfielders are taught to find the wall first. Get to the wall, then make the jump.
Yeah, he never put his hand out to really feel where that wall was. And Dean has struggled a little bit out there. Getting used to it, but struggling nonetheless.
You get one of those fly balls. If you have time, it's always easier to come in than go out. So you get back, find the wall, following the baseball as you're doing it, and then if you got to jump, do it then. Real easy from up here, though. Great off-speed pitch to Greenwell. 0-2.
Well, the Red Sox have been known for years as a station-to-station team, but that one takes the cake right there. Boggs just got caught betwixt and between. He thought it was going to be a routine play, and then he saw Palmer near the wall, thought he still had it, and then decided to go back and tag up. And there was a real log jam at second base. Boggs was going back. Jody Reed was coming down, and Jack Clark had made a big turn at first base, and all of a sudden you had 3 guys in the area of second base.
Stepping out Greenwell, you saw the big numbers he has with the bases loaded. 300 hitter with runners in scoring position this year. Singled and scored in the 4th. The Red Sox need an inning. They've got a chance for it here. 1 away, 0-2 count. 2-1 Red Sox lead. Slider misses inside. 1-2.
Jack Clark showing a few signs of coming out. Actually, his RBI count lately, that's 20 in his last 16 games. There
he is at first. Boggs at third, Reed at second. Boyd with a 1-2 delivery. Greenwell spanks it to right. Sierra's got to come in. Boggs tagging up, play at the plate. Sierra makes the catch. Boggs is going to come. Here's the throw to the plate. He is dead meat. See you later. Ruben Sierra. Me up. The Red Sox may have got a run, but they got one run where they had the bases loaded and nobody out in the 5th inning. They end up with a run on 3 hits and 2 left. A double play ends the inning with the final out being made at the plate. Ow. Juan Gonzalez. But they do get the 1 run and take the lead back. Boston 2 and the Rangers 1.
One thing that never goes into a slump is speed. The Red Sox do not have speed, so that's always going to be a problem for them. When you have fast runners, sometimes you can manufacture runs. The Red Sox don't have that luxury.
I gotta say, I never second guess, but I guess that's what I'm gonna do. How can you send Wade Boggs on that? When you got a 6-game losing streak, you're not driving anybody home. He doesn't have speed. You got Sierra who can throw the baseball. I guess you try and make things happen.
You're on record.
The 0-2 swung on and miss. Let's take a look at that play that ended that inning.
Ruben Sierra comes in and gets all the momentum going towards home plate. The perfect way an outfielder is supposed to do it. Now you want a lesson in blocking the plate. Look how Rodriguez gives Boggs a little bit, takes it away from him, and then just kicks the leg to make sure Cedarstrom knows, he didn't get there. And how'd they enjoy that? Yeah, congratulations to both of you. Great throw, great setup by Sierra. The youngster gave Boggs a little bit of the plate and then took it away from him and spun him around like a top.
Yul Brynner. 1 away as Gonzalez is the 3rd strikeout victim of Joe Hesketh. Here's Buechele. Boy, is Hesketh giving the Red Sox something they desperately needed. A great start.
Really are. Very much like Juan Guzman or Jose Guzman. Get the Guzman straight. Jose Guzman of the Rangers, a guy they had on the waiver list to release in spring training, had a 1.6 ERA in the last 45 innings. You haven't heard too much about him, but he's kept the Rangers very much in this thing with his great work.
A good pitching matchup here with Hesketh and Boyd. Bobby Valentine with his young catcher. Ivan Rodriguez. Quiet, steady, very mature. Shows in the play that you see day in, day out. Chases the high fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hesketh is throwing a fastball over 90 miles an hour.
I mentioned Joe survived elbow surgery in 1981, shoulder surgery in 1987. In between times, he tried to run over Mike Scioscia one night. And anybody who knows anything about Mike Scioscia blocking the plate knows that's not a real good idea. He ended up with a broken leg. That was 1985, but he's persevered and is helping this Red Sox club right now.
Has Buechele on a 1-2 count. 1 down, nobody on. Left-hander bounces that one off Tony Pena. That'll even the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rosenthal's been up a couple of times in the bullpen. Obviously, he's ready now. He's just staying warm, so Boyd may be out of this ball game. Bobby Valentine said he would have Oil Can Boyd up for around 100 pitches. He threw a lot in the 1st inning of this ball game, over 20. Buechele, right center. Burks and Berdansky there. Center fielder wants it. Burks puts it away, 2 down. John?
Cleveland had a 3-1 lead over the Oakland A's. Greg Swindell facing Dave Henderson, who crushes this ball. He's been struggling, but you'd never know it to see where this one lands. 2-run home run, tied the game at 3 apiece. Then in the 7th inning, Swindell again facing Jose Canseco. He had a double earlier. This is a 2-run home run, stretched the lead to 6-3. It's now 6-4 in the 8th. Back to Gary and Dave.
Wouldn't bet on him, but I wouldn't bet against him. A's just haven't quite been able to get over the hill. Foul back by Dean Palmer.
Well, there are those who say maybe that's the A's problem if they have some of their players over the hill. But I still think, I agree with you, Gary, this club is not really gelled. The Oakland A's, although the bullpen really has to be a concern to Tony La Russa. He's waiting for Rick Honeycutt and Gene Nelson to get back into form, and they have really struggled.
Palmer will foul that one off, and the count is no balls, 2 strikes. One of the major tournaments of the year, defending champion Lee Trevino, Jack Nicklaus, Chichi Rodriguez, they'll all be there. The U.S. Senior Open, Thursday and Friday at noon Eastern, live right here on ESPN. The first and second rounds live, the U.S. Senior Open. Hesketh has 2 down, and 0-2 count. And Palmer to right. Brunansky is back. Warning track with room. That'll do it. So Hesketh comes on after the Red Sox were able to give him the lead back, and he preserves it. Remains Boston 2-1. Bobby Valentine true to his word, even though the Red Sox are leading 2-1. Oil Can Boyd is gone, but a very strong first performance in a Ranger uniform.
97 pitches, and Bobby Valentine said around 100. This heat probably takes a little getting used to. Oil Can's last start was up in the nice, comfortable. Well, that's right. The roof is off, though, in Montreal, and it was humid up there last week.
Even had a rain out.
That's right. A man who lives in Maine like you do knows it was toasty in the Northeast last week.
Is it ever? So you see Wayne Rosenthal on the mound, 27-year-old right-hander working in relief, taking on Tom Brunansky, who's 0 for his last 16, including the 0 for 2 here tonight. 2-0 delivery to him, and Bruno lines up to center field. Gonzalez is there, and he played perfectly.
I don't know if the Red Sox are just being more selective or not, but they kind of work the count on Boyd all night long. The book on the Rangers right now is if you can get rid of their starters and get into their pen, you usually can handle them. But an aggressive hitting team like the Red Sox, I just wonder if their game plan really was to try to get deep in the count with Boyd.
Rosenthal out of Brooklyn, New York, a graduate of St. John's University. He was Big East and All-Star and All-Academic Big East as well. He faces Ellis Burks here with 1 down. Rosenthal had been at AAA ball much of this season. He was called up on June 24. AAA, he was 3-2 at a 4.01 ERA with 5 saves. Appeared in 16 games at the AAA level. Burks 0-2. That's what we were talking about earlier. Middle relief. Got to have it in this day and age. It is not easy to find. Rangers are hoping that this veteran of minor league ball, Rosenthal, will be able to fill one of those voids of middle relief.
That's why you really have to like the Toronto Blue Jays. Not only do they have 5 quality starters, but they can bring Mike Timlin and then Dwayne Ward out to set it up for Tom Henke. Pretty good deal right there.
He got him. Rosenthal will pick up his first strikeout, 2 down. Dave, I've heard hitters say that Timlin may be as tough to hit against as anyone in baseball right now.
He has a very, very live arm. Bobby Valentine looking for some pitching like that. Rosenthal gets a strikeout. Of course, the other guy, that Bob McDonald, a left-hander for Toronto, he's given them some good work. So things looking real good for the Jays despite a 3-game losing streak. And Joe Morgan knows how well the Jays have been playing. His club starts tonight in 4th place, 9.5 back.
And they continue to have trouble scoring. They've got a 2-1 lead here, but you've lost 6 games in a row, and you haven't played well in doing it. There is nothing safe until there are 3 down, and you've got a lead, and it's bottom of the 9th inning, and you're back in the clubhouse. Tony Pena, batting at 247, takes the breaking ball for a strike, 1-1.
Well, as my good friend Darren Johnson says, it's never over till the victory beer is popped. I think the Red Sox would like to pop a few tops tonight.
Whatever your choice of adult beverage happens to be. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 away. Pena waiting. Boston 2-6-0. The Rangers 1-2-0. They've had only 2 hits in this game. Palmeiro, a first-inning single. Brian Downing's 10th home run in the 4th. Slider. Rosenthal missing. 2-1.
Rosenthal also has come up with a forkball. I think that's probably the pitch that drew some attention from the Ranger brass as they were looking for some good middle relief. That extra pitch has helped some guys. Other guys, it's hurt their arms. Verdict is still out completely.
And that one spinning is played by Franco. That ball looked like it was going to get into right field without any trouble at all, but it had such spin on it when it hit, it slowed down. Remains a 2-1 Boston lead.
Texas Rangers season this year, a real roller coaster.
And there it is right now. Six Flags open and booming with business next door here. And a great ball game underway before what looks like a sellout. 2-1 lead. The pitching duel goes on. Joe Hesketh, just the home run by Downing, the only run up there. Boston Red Sox have stranded 6 in the game. The Rangers have not left anybody on. The only other hit was that single in the first. That was played into a double play. It'll be Rodriguez, Houston, and Downing. So Hesketh is only one over the minimum number of batters that he could face thus far. And he's throwing strikes. Rodriguez takes the strike in the outside corner.
Hesketh has been throwing a 4-seam fastball. That one right there. He's been throwing a sinking or tailing fastball. Has come in with a slider and has thrown a couple of changeups in key situations. Now he has really mixed his speeds and location.
And gets ahead on the hitter again as Rodriguez fouls it off. 0-2.
A chance on Sunday night to see Randy Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Pirates, a guy who probably has a lot of trouble breaking 87 miles an hour, but location and change of speeds can make major league hitters look rather silly.
It's the name of the game, isn't it?
It really is. It's nice if you got that 97 mile an hour burner, but if you don't, you can still pitch in the big leagues if you learn how to pitch.
I'll never forget Chuck Tanner when he was managing the Atlanta Braves, just standing with him one day before a game in the batting cage. And he said, you want to know about pitching and hitting? And he said, you watch right now. This is batting practice. They're trying to throw the ball in the strike zone. You count how many hits are picked up even on batting practice pitches. If you can throw strikes and change speeds, you can pitch. Busted bat to second base. Jody Reed. Rodriguez is retired, one away here in the 6th inning. And I hope he gets back in baseball. He's one of my favorite people. I really like him, and his name's been bandied about a bit as being involved at some level with maybe one of the expansion teams.
Also, I've seen his name as I don't know if Chuck has hit the lottery somewhere, but I've seen his name utilized in connection with a possible buyer of the Houston Astros. I don't think he'd be the main front guy, but Chuck Tanner, a very engaging guy.
Good baseball man. Jeff Houston, one down, nobody on, and squares around. They want to see if he went after it. He did not, says Larry Young at third.
Chuck always had that upbeat personality, even when he had those awful teams with the Pirates. He says, hey, I got the greatest job in America. I have a chance to win a major league game tonight. And even if I don't, it's still the second best job when I lose a game. So, Chuck Tanner loved his baseball. Absolutely. Jeff Houston playing tonight because Mario Diaz, normally in there against lefties, has the flu tonight.
Left center field, they were playing him in. Burks, look out. Greenwell makes the catch. Ooh. Burks was right there, but fortunately ran behind him. And Greenwell hauled it in, and Burks kind of flared off. And Burks shaking his head. All right, it was yours, so he obviously didn't call him off.
Greenwell told Ellis, he probably said, I looked a little stupid on that, didn't I? Ellis probably said, yeah.
Brian Downing, 2 down, and he's accounted for the lone run. He got a pitch away and extended the arms and held it inside that fair foul pole. Right off the screen. Interesting. Remember, you did not see it at the time. Hesketh, the pitch before, had thrown one all the way to the backstop and was smiling about it. Just lost control of it. And the next pitch, he wasn't smiling as Downing drilled it for his 10th. Fight that one off. 0-2. Hesketh has given up 9 home runs this season. 9 home runs in 66 innings pitched.
Another good story, because when we were doing the Red Sox in spring training this year, a lot of people didn't think he'd make the staff. Not only has he made the staff, but right now, as we get towards the end of July, he's one of the Red Sox more effective pitchers.
He's doing it tonight. He's had 3 balls on only 2 batters in this game. That's how well he's done at staying ahead of it.
Boggs guarding the line, not a bad idea. First of all, Downing will pull the ball, and with 2 outs, I often think that's not a bad time, especially with a left-hander who is trying to throw the slider down and in. Take away the double with 2 outs.
Downing towards the middle. They had him played that way. Reed, the second baseman, will get him, and that'll do it. So Hesketh continues to roll along after giving up the home run to Downing. He's retired the next 9 Rangers that he's faced. 2-1 Boston. ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball. Better pitching duel than I thought we'd see.
Yeah, these two clubs, you'd figure they're going to do some good hitting tonight, but Joe Hesketh has thrown 60 pitches in 6 innings. Let's see, 6 into 60. 10 pitches an inning. It's pretty efficient.
Very efficient.
Wasn't that good math by me?
You're outstanding. Well, how am I going to get turned around here? And the pitch is taken down low for a ball. Rivera with 15 doubles on the season now. And he fouls that one back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hi, nice to see you back.
I choke myself every time we do that. Turn around with that coat on and wrap this cord around my throat. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The price has started.
It is.
Just
tough,
getting our mugs on TV.
And that one is going to be taken. Rosenthal working in relief of Oil Can Boyd. 27-year-old, spent 5 years in the minors before he finally got a chance at the major league level this season. And he's worked his way up, only 1 year AAA. That'll be playable by Dean Palmer in left field. He hauls it in, 1 away for the Red Sox, and we will check in with John Saunders.
Twins and the Tigers, and Gullickson was working on a shutout when he faced Chili Davis with 2 gone. The 4-0 lead in the 8th. 2 were aboard, and Chili lifts this one to right field. Off the facade, number 21 on the year, 3-run shot. The Twins within a run in the 8th. Back to Gary and Dave.
Hello, Detroit. They are doing exactly what we thought they would do. They have the worst batting average in the league coming into the ball game tonight, and yet with those home runs, they've kept themselves right in games. They obviously are number 1 in homers, and they are first in runs.
Yeah, major leagues, worst batting average, number 1 in runs. Figure that one out. And their on-base percentage isn't all that good either.
No, just the home run.
So anybody that thinks batting average and on-base percentage important, it is, but give me about 120 homers at this time of the year, and you're going to have a club that's going to be doing pretty well.
Nothing like that slugging percentage, is there? 2 ball, 1 strike count to Wade Boggs. Yes, that's the Fenway monster right there that he loves to chop off, taking the ball the other way at home. That's why that batting average lifetime is so high at Fenway Park, and why, as Dave mentioned earlier, he'll not do nearly as well on the road. But heck, when you're hitting .401 at home, you don't need a big road average. 2-2 count. Rosenthal misses, full count.
He's finished twice in his career over 400 at Fenway Park. He hit .418, 1985. A couple years later, he hit .406. He's been over 400 twice during the home season.
Rosenthal to him, and it'll be fouled back. He'll do it again.
Wade Boggs did not play yesterday, left Monday's game with a back problem, and he thought it was really serious. There's a chiropractor who is a regular season ticket holder for the Texas Rangers. He said, Wade, I think I can help you. Put him on the table. Boggs said, I feel great. I'm playing. Boggs
will always take a long look on that one because he rarely walks back. That's only the 22nd time he has gone down via the strikeout.
Well, Rosenthal had thrown him some off speed. Now he buries that fastball. A comebacker is the lingo on that. Is it a strike? It's borderline. And Boggs, eagle eyes, going, nah, Gary, you don't call that pitch on me. Perhaps somebody else, but not me.
He struck out only 68 times all last season, and right now it's going to be even fewer than that this year, just 22 in the year. Rosenthal, a couple of strikeouts in the game since coming on for Boyd. Has 2 down, nobody on. Jody Reed at the plate. Reed batting at .259 as he stands in. Boston with that 2-1 lead. They got the run in the 5th inning. The go-ahead run on an RBI by Clark with the bases loaded. He hit a ball off the top of the wall. Missed a grand slam by about an inch. Keep that in mind. The other run came in the 4th inning when Greenwell scored on a double by Burks. Reed takes it away, 2-1.
Jody's certainly not as flamboyant as some of the Red Sox players. Doesn't get an awful lot of ink, but he is a very, very steady player. He's usually in the middle of a lot of rallies when the Red Sox have them.
Ruben Sierra. Well, Rosenthal very effective here since coming on. He retires the side in order. Arlington, Texas, that's where we are. 2-1 ball game, and it's 7th inning stretch time. The Red Sox leading the home Rangers by a score of 2-1. Texas Rangers have a 6-3 lead over Boston in the season series, and they've won all 2 of the games in this series. For the Red Sox, a very short 3-game road trip. They'll go home to take on the White Sox in a weekend series. The Detroit Tigers will be coming in here to play in Texas. Both teams with a day off tomorrow.
Amazing thing about this Ranger season is they are still getting at least half of the front page of the sports page of the Dallas papers instead of the Cowboys having the whole front page.
Not easy to do, huh? That is a very strong performance. I told you, just the one over. And he will face Palmeiro, Sierra, and Franco. This game far from over, and that bust that bat. Splintered it. He hit it right off the end. Strike 1.
We'll have our brilliant statistician, Marty Arnold, checking, but I think Hesketh has only gone to a 3-ball count once, and that was on Brian Downey when he hit the home run.
Well, Marty's quickly doing that. We remind you that Bob Lee and Dan Patrick are coming right along. They'll have all the Major League Baseball scores and highlights. The Senior U.S. Open, you'll be seeing a couple of rounds right here on ESPN. And the Redskins signing, we were talking about football. Well, we'll bring you up to date on that as the camps are underway and rookie games are being played. Next on ESPN.
Marty Arnold tried to put up 2 fingers and said twice he had gone to 3-ball counts, but I cut one of them off so I could be right.
Then it's only 1.
Come on, Marty, you know we're supposed to be right.
Palmeiro hitting at 332. Takes that pitch down low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Hesketh working into the 7th inning here in this start before 39,439 on hand here at Texas. They've drawn 116,350 for this 3-game series. To short. Right at him. Rivera got to hurry. Gets him. Big out right there. John?
We told you the Twins got it to 4-3. Well, in the bottom half of the 8th, Travis Fryman to center field. Kirby Puckett going back, tries for the over-the-shoulder, off the glove, then it bounces away. Fryman is rounding second. The throw nowhere near the cutoff man, so it's a triple and an error, and a 5-3 lead for the Tigers now in the 8th inning. Let's get back to Gary and Dave.
And it wasn't even a home run. Wasn't even a home run. Boston with a 2-1 lead here. Joe Hesketh. 1 down, nobody on. Ruben Sierra has taken the 0 for 2. Remember, he's doing this against a Texas team which comes in second as far as average is concerned, and all kinds of slugging and numbers, power numbers. This is not an easy club to pitch against. Sierra takes the left-hander's delivery up high, and it's 2-0.
Hesketh has not gone 2-0 very often. Sierra in a 1-run ball game. Ruben has struggled a little bit. Only 200 over his last 20 games. He's going to look for a pitch to drive here. He doesn't necessarily have to pull it. He's going to look for a ball up and out over the plate. Hesketh taking his time for the first time. He's been in a good rhythm. He just kind of got back off the mound and had a little thought process with himself.
Sierra, 364 hitter against Boston this year. He's torn up this team and a lot of others.
What a pitch. 2 balls, no strikes on the outside corner at the knees. Great pitch. 2 balls and no strikes from Joe Hesketh.
Hesketh, 2-1, 1 away, bases empty. Trying to preserve a 1-run lead, and he's still fine-tuning it. Sierra doesn't like the call, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gary Cederstrom, the umpire at whom the wrath is directed.
Well, Gary has been ringing it up on both sides. probably a little bit outside, but hey, guys, swing the bats. You see an umpire raising that right hand once in a while.
Hello. Nice conversation. 2-2. Got him. Ooh. Boy, what a nasty pitch that was. Hesketh gets his 4th strikeout, 2 down in the 7th inning.
Well, he kept going away, and then he went further away, and then he probably gets Sierra leaning over, and what does he throw? The hard slider down and in. And Ruben was probably thinking, I got to protect the outside part of the plate. The plate's kind of wide tonight, and Ruben not too happy.
Remember, for Hesketh, only his 4th start. He has worked 7 innings in 1 game. That was at Minnesota in a win. The last time he pitched more than 7 innings was in 1986. That's the last time he's gone beyond the 7th inning. His last complete game was in 1985. 2 down, nobody on. So he is working in some rarefied air right here. Joe Hesketh doesn't get this far in the ball game very often, at least not on the mound.
Got a little bit of a break tonight with the weather. The temperature atop the scoreboard says 86 degrees, but many evenings here at this time of year, it's in the high 90s.
Franco. The 1-0 count, 2 down. He just hasn't hurt himself. He's not walked a batter. And that'll be taken up high, 2-0. He's tiring. He's talking to himself. As Dave said, he slowed down the pace a little bit, and the pitches are also coming in high. 2 signs of a fuel tank that's near empty.
That's a good idea what he's doing right now. He realizes he's getting a little out of sync. He's just going to take his time, try to get himself back together. Joe Morgan sitting, arms folded.
He's got 2 down, bases empty, the 2-0 delivery. 3-0. Joe, don't wait.
You're managing again.
I am managing again. I apologize to all baseball fans, and I apologize to you, Joe. You know the status of that bullpen better than I. It's obviously there's not a lot of confidence in it right now.
Well, it's getting near Jeff Gray time, and then Jeff Reardon. Gray has done nice work for the Red Sox this year. Reardon has done well at times.
Takes it, 3-1. Franco trying to keep a 7-game hit streak alive. That's not what's on his mind. What's on his mind is just getting on base. 11 hits in his last 31 at-bats during the streak, batting .314 right now with the 0 for 2 he's had tonight.
Hesketh was able to make the quality pitch when he was behind Sierra 2-0. Now he's got Franco 3-1. Let's see where he goes with it.
There's the first walk given up by Hesketh, but it is a 2-out walk here in the 7th. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Here's the bullpen for Boston.
Guess the phone isn't working down there.
Look, they're all looking.
Operator, could you connect me with the Boston bullpen, please?
Operator, information. 2 down. Juan Gonzalez, he has struck out twice. Hesketh has 4 Ks. And gets Franco back to the bag.
Julio 18 steals. He is one of the threats on the Rangers to go.
Gonzalez 0 for his last 12. He's been strong against left-handers this season, batting .350 against them with 4 home runs off left-handers. Hesketh not decoying the throw to first base at all the first 2 times here. He's looking right over and throwing it. Franco's talking to someone in the dugout.
Started saying, does that guy have a better move than that? Because if that's it, I'm going.
He does. 2 away, 2-1 Boston lead. Breaking ball misses. And they are up in the pen.
Phone worked. Jeff Gray up. He's amongst the leaders in games appeared in. Done a nice job as the setup man for the Sox this year.
Steve Lyon standing there with the catcher's mitt on. He's worked both ends of the bullpen. He pitched the other day against the Minnesota Twins.
That's the good news for Lions, but not for the Sox.
1-0 delivery. Wow. Talk about being fooled. 1-1.
Juan Gonzalez has been in a bit of a funk lately. He's just 2 for his last 22, and he's really jumping at the ball. Hesketh feeding him a diet of off-speed pitches, and Gonzalez not picking it up. He's just really jumping out in front of it.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Just have not been able to find a way to get to Joe Hesketh. And again, no decoy on that. He just wants to hold Franco.
General rule of thumb is when you have a guy like Gonzalez that can go deep, you probably wait till 2 strikes before you might send Franco. Give the kid a chance to go deep, and once he gets behind in the count, then try to send the man, so then all it takes is a single to score it.
1-1 delivery. Runner is going. Swung and a miss. Throw by Pena on the money, but not in time. A perfect throw by Tony Pena, but it will be a stolen base for Franco.
Pretty good move by Bobby Valentine. He saw that Hesketh was feeding a lot of slow curveballs to Gonzalez. So he said, if that's the way he's going to pitch him, I'm going to send my runner right now. The only reason Pena couldn't throw this man out, breaking ball down and in. And Pena makes a good looking throw to second base. But Franco had Hesketh read all the way, and he throws him out.
And Morgan is on his way out. Look at that great throw. But hands on the bag. 19 stolen bases for Franco.
He's got 1 ball, 2 strikes in Gonzalez, and he may want to make a pitching change. Hesketh has really had Gonzalez out in front of the breaking pitches, though.
Long conversation, satisfied that Hesketh feels strong enough to go on. So he will stay in and battle with a 1-2 count here on Gonzalez. Franco came down to talk to his third base coach, heads back down to second base. He represents that potential tying run right here. There you see the 1-run ball games struggle for the Red Sox. That's exactly what happens in baseball. You win them one year, you will lose them the next. The Rangers are defying that, though. They were 37-22 last year in 1-run games, and they are still winning 1-run ball games. Not this one. Right now. 2 down, 1-2 delivery. Gonzalez takes it on the bounce.
Well, you mentioned every other year the Red Sox in '89 went 13-25. Then they bounced back last year to have a good record in 1-run games. Back in the tank this year. Again, that failure to win games late has really hurt them. Only 2 victories in their final at-bats all year.
I think the White Sox are now up to 24 wins in their last at-bat. They got another one last night. Hesketh, the 2-2 delivered to Gonzalez, and it's a full count. Franco's the runner at second base. The only walk given up by Hesketh represents that potential tying run in this 2-1 ball game in the bottom of the 7th.
I don't think Joe has to hold anything back in the reserve tank here, because more than likely Gray's going to come on to pitch the 8th anyway. I just think Morgan really wants him to give everything he's got right here to Juan Gonzalez. Gonzalez has been chasing the breaking ball, but all of a sudden with 2 strikes, stopped chasing it.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Franco a big lead at second base. He's on with a walk. 2 on. Morgan's coming out to get him. Let's check in with John.
Mets and the Giants. David Cohen on the mound facing Kevin Mitchell, who turns this pitch around for his 17th home run of the year. 2-run home run made it a 3-1 game. Then Kevin Bass would come to the plate a couple batters later, and this with 2 runners aboard is a 3-run home run. That made it 6-1. It's now a 7-1 game. David Cohen, though, still in it. Right now, let's take it back to Gary and Dave.
Just when the Mets think they're in it, starts falling apart. What a performance by Joe Hesketh.
Absolutely. He gave it his all of a sudden, ran out of gas here in the bottom of the 7th with 2 out.
But he's got a chance to win this ball game. We'll see whether or not Gray can hang on to the lead. We can't bear to watch. 2-1 ball game. He can win it. Runners are on first and second, 2 down, and Steve Buechele faces 28-year-old right-hander Jeff Gray, the setup man. right at the top of the pile in appearances this season. Worked last night, inning and 2/3, struck out 4. Buechele takes it down low, ball 1.
Gray, kind of a funky motion, leads the American League in appearances. This is his 48. 10 walks in 58 innings is outstanding, though. Slider, fastball, a sinker. He'll change speeds, but the funky motion sometimes makes it difficult to pick up the ball when he throws it, especially to right-handed batters.
2 base runners. Franco at second. Gonzalez at first. 2 down. The Red Sox leading 2-1. And Buechele ahead on the count, 2-0. Fly to center twice. 4 hits in his last 16 at-bats. 264 on the season.
Leads the Rangers in homers with 15. He has gone to a little more of an open stance. He talked to Rafael Palmeiro, said he wasn't picking up the ball quite as well, and Palmeiro told him to open his stance a little bit, and it's paid off for him this year.
Gray struck out Buechele last night in that performance. He has appeared against Texas 4 times. This is the 5th. 5 2/3 innings. He's given up only 2 hits and no runs. Lifetime he's 0-2 with no saves against Texas, but he's not a save man. He's a setup man. He's had 1 save and 4 chances this year. Mano a mano right here. Gray and Buechele. 2-0 count. Right field. Verdansky's got plenty of room, and Gray gets it done. Buechele flies out, no runs, a couple of walks, and both of them are left on here in the 7th inning. Rangers had the opportunity, but Hesketh stopping preserved the lead with help from Jeff Gray. Red Sox see if they can add to it. Carlos Quintana, 8th inning, single in the first, 1 for 3. And Q takes the pitch down low from Wayne Rosenthal, who has struck out a couple and walked no one. Boyd went 5 innings, 2 runs on 6 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts for Oilcan Boyd in his first start as a Texas Ranger. And Rosenthal has come on and gotten the job done in relief. Quintana batting at .302. Struck out the last 2 times up. And the breaking ball by Rosenthal is in there. High strike, 1-2. Texas Rangers this season, a bit ironic. They are 26-25 against the East, while they are 23-16 against their own Western team, supposedly the tougher division. The Red Sox have done it just the other way around. Boston, they are 17-21 against the East, but 28-27 against the West.
Yeah, last year the Red Sox were 50-28 against the East. Things kind of topsy-turvy in baseball this year.
2-2 delivery is inside, and the count is full on Quintana.
The team that has pounded on the East are the Minnesota Twins. They're 17-22 against the West. Terrific record against the East. Last time I saw it was something like 36-17.
Pensive skippers right here. This 1-run ball game, and he got him. Boy, Rosenthal, impressive performance here. That's his 3rd strikeout. 1 away in the 8th inning. Our storyline tonight here in Arlington has been just a very well-pitched game by both Boyd and by Hesketh, now giving way to Gray and Rosenthal. Red Sox have the lead. Clark had the bases loaded when he got that RBI single off the top of the left field wall. Boggs ended up being thrown out at the plate. It ended up being a double play. Sierra got him there, and that's why it's still a 1-run ball game. A single by Palmeiro in the first, home run by Downing in the 4th, his 10th, the lone Texas run. Joe Hesketh, there's his line. Great work. Timeout taken, a ball in the outfield being retrieved.
Just some advanced news for you Red Sox fans in the Boston area. Mr. Oilcan Boyd is scheduled to pitch against Boston at Fenway next Tuesday.
That'll send him rocking. He'll be fired for that one, as he was here tonight. He is the pitcher of record. The 2 starters are the pitchers of record in this game. Escott could win it. Boyd could lose it.
Nolan Ryan is going to go here on Sunday for the Rangers. That'll be his 14th start at home, only 5 on the road. They're making sure they get their money's worth out of Nolan here in Texas.
You didn't blame him for that, Kenny.
No.
Foul back.
Now they've decided to put Jose Guzman back in the game. Guzman coming off the shoulder surgery. Nolan, I knew you were here tonight. Nolan saying, well, I just got done signing 400 autographs, so I got to come out and watch the game.
2-1 delivery by Rosenthal. Misses away. 3-1.
I heard today that Nolan Ryan averages getting between 300 and 400 letters a day.
Well, you know what it's worth. There you see Rogers in the bullpen. He's ready if needed. That autograph of the Hall of Famer. Gossage also there. 3-1 delivery. Dead center. High, but straight away, not deep. Hauled in by Gonzalez, and Clark is retired. He had the RBI single in the 5th inning. 2 down here in the 8th with nobody on. There was a time where there were arguments, Dave, whether or not he should be in the Hall of Fame 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Not anymore.
First ballot. Would think assured. Although some writers still say, hey, he's just barely above being a 500 pitcher. Do you realize all 4 teams that he has pitched for in his career were expansion teams? And that's the Angels, the Astros, and the Rangers.
Mike Greenwell goes fishing. Strike 1. Rosenthal's retired all 8 batters that he's faced. Let's see the numbers for him. He got his single and scored in the 4th inning on Burke's double. First Boston run. Also have writers who say nobody should go in unanimously, so it's almost guaranteed there'll be some non-votes or whatever. But I don't think much question anymore. He'll be there. Rosenthal with the 0-2 count, 2 down. Boston 2 and the Rangers 1. We are in the top half of the 8th inning. The Rangers have won the last 3 games by 1 run. 2 of them against Boston, 2-1 and 5-4. Here we are in another 1-run game. 0-2 delivery, slapped towards second base, and out of the reach of Franco into center field. So a 2-out single by Greenwell, and he's 2 for 4 in the ball game, and the Red Sox have their 7th hit.
Real minor point, but I thought once the count got 0-2 on Greenwell, maybe Julio Franco should play a little more towards the middle. Hitters become more defensive when the pitcher's ahead. Franco was playing him to pull, which would be fine if the count were 2-0 or 2 balls and a strike. And Julio Franco kind of shaking his head out there. I didn't think he positioned himself too well there.
Breaking ball catches the inside corner on Tom Brudansky. His batting average has dropped down to 207 now with the 0 for 3 he's taken tonight. A couple of fly ball outs and a pop out. 0 for his last 17. Rosenthal. Slider away. 1-1.
Bruno, one of those guys with the uppercut type swing. Number 2 last year to fly ball outs next to Mark McGuire, another uppercutter of the Oakland A's. When he's hot, he uppercuts him into the net and beyond in Boston. When he's not, a lot of lazy fly balls.
We're talking about Carlos Quintana. All 6 of his home runs coming on the road. Almost the opposite for Brunansky. 21 of his 26 have come at Fenway Park. There's the quiet cue. Quintana, Mo Vaughn, both up sharing first base duties and outfield work. 1-2 delivery. Again, that slider or split-fingered pitch missing away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Bruno with 2 down, trying to work the runner around. Greenwell at first base. Rosenthal trying to keep it a 1-run ball game. 2-2 delivery. Gone. Same thing. 4 strikeouts for Rosenthal. He's allowed only one man on. That was Greenwell's 2-out single here in the 8th inning. Still 2-1. The music here is approaching Oakland. Hasn't reached it yet, but they play Sam Cooke, Twisting the Night Away. They got some good funky rock in there from the 60s, huh?
I'm waiting for Otis Redding, and then they'll go over the top.
That's right. Great one. 2-1 ball game, bottom half of the 8th inning. Working now against Jeff Gray, who retired Bouchel to end the 7th inning. Now he works to Palmer and gets the first pitch in for a strike.
Gary, you mentioned that Dean Palmer has been struggling. The first week he came up, he had 11 RBIs, but he's 6 for his last 44, and he's struck out at least once in 12 consecutive games. He has not punched out so far tonight, but he's struggling a little bit now.
And he pops that one up. Down near the bullpen area, Quintana. He knew that one was going to get away. He couldn't get an angle. And if you can't get an angle and you end up playing it going backwards, it's a very tough play.
Well, Carlos will not get any points for grace here. He looked down once and just couldn't seem to get the feet settled under him. And Gary, I think you hit it right on the head. You talked about not getting a good angle on it. He kept trying to get turned around. He couldn't quite get his body turned around on the darn thing.
They will charge him with an error, allowing the at-bat of Dean Palmer to continue. That's a tough error.
Red Sox fans everywhere are saying, is that going to kill us the way we've been going lately? We'll find out.
Let's see. Texas unable to get the leadoff man on in this game, except for the home run by Brian Downing in the 4th inning. Of course, they weren't getting anybody on against Hesketh. Gray with an 0-2 count. Almost put that one over the head of Tony Pena. 1-2. He has been so effective setting it up as the right-hander. Bossis has gotten a lot of work this season from the left side. One-two delivery. He got him. It's a great pitch. Gray gets his first strikeout. One away, John.
Budweiser takes us now to San Diego. The Expos and the Padres, and the Expos off and running. Fitzgerald is going to second. The throw is cut off by Bip Roberts. He comes back to Santiago, but not before Galarraga is in to score. 5 runs in the first for the Expos. McGriff, though, has a home run, his 19th. Back to Gary and Dave.
John keeping us updated on the other games around Major League Baseball while we watch this one unravel. And still a 2-1 ball game. Rangers with just a couple of hits being shut down in this one. One away, nobody on. Rodriguez, the 0 for 2. Though the error by Quintana not making that catch does not hurt as Gray goes ahead and gets the strikeout. So they get the leadoff man out here in the 8th.
Kind of the way the Red Sox have been going was typified Sunday night. They lost 4 in a row to the Minnesota Twins, got on their plane, their charter plane, to come to Texas. Mechanical problems. They sent everybody home, woke them up, made them come Monday morning.
Wade Boggs, 2 down. Rodriguez retired, 2 down. Well, when it goes bad, the whole thing just goes bad. You can't even get your MGM Grand up in the air to stay, huh?
You got it. Kevin Reimer, who had a big pinch hit home run on Sunday against Toronto to win a game for the Texas Rangers, will come on to pinch hit for Jeff Houston.
Houston had gone 0 for 2. Reimer, the left-hander, now against Gray, as they look for that one big shot. 5 for 18 as a pinch hitter with that home run and a couple of RBIs. A very solid season of numbers and the limited opportunities that he's had. Gray with 2 down and nobody on. Thus far, he has been Mr. Effective for the Red Sox. Souvenir, strike 1.
Well, like most good pinch hitters, Kevin Reimer leaves the bench hacking. I had the good fortune to play with a guy in Detroit by the name of Gates Brown. Gates, he may have taken a couple of naps during the game, but when he went to the dish, he was ready to hack. And Jeff Reardon, in case you were wondering who might pitch the 9th for the Red Sox, as if there was any question, he's getting ready.
Boy, left-handers against Gray are hitting just .202 with a couple of home runs. That one hit in the air to center field, left center in the power alley where there's lots of room. Greenwell, boy, he and Burks not exactly communicated 100% out there, but again, the second time Burks goes behind him and allows the left fielder to make the play. Reimer's gone. Another 1-2-3 inning. It's allowed because pine tar extends beyond the 18-inch limit. Brett became enraged. He was ultimately ejected from the game. Do you remember the Royals player who tried to slip away with the illegal bat? Well, it's none other than Brett's teammate and now Hall of Famer Gaylord Perry. The pine tar incident 8 years ago today. Goose Gossage got a save last night, his 308th. On the same night, Nolan Ryan won his 308th. Dave, you remember that pine tar incident, how enormous that was in the press? It went on and on.
It really did. Of course, the American League president overruled the decision by home plate umpire Tim McClellan and the crew. They finished that game, as I recall. It was rather comedic. Because of certain guys who had been kicked out, a lot of guys were playing out of position. But it was monstrous, but they finally overruled. Defensive changes. Kevin Reimer stays in and left. Dean Palmer moves into third base.
And Burks pops it up. Playable at first for Palmeiro. He's got it. Ellis Burks, who had a double and an RBI in the fourth, is 1 for 4.
Jeff Russell, the new pitcher. He is the closer for the Rangers. The reason that Goose Gossage was allowed to get the closing opportunity last night, yet another one of the 8 flu victims the Rangers have had.
Pettis and Diaz are the 2 flu-ridden tonight. They are both out of there. It's been 2 on one night, 2 out the next. Tony Pena, 1 down, nobody on. Boston leading it 2-1. The Rangers just a couple of hits in this game. Joe Hesketh waiting to see if he's going to be a winner. If you are looking ahead, it'll be the top of the order coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning. They'll have Downing, Palmeiro, and Sierra due up. Red Sox have not been able to add to their lead. 7 left on base in tonight's game, 3 of those in scoring position. And Russell, this is down low to Pena, 1-1. Great job by Wayne Rosenthal. 3 innings in relief, gave up just 1 hit. Didn't walk anybody and struck out 4.
Other defensive change, Steve Buechele moves over to short after Jeff Houston was pinch hits 4. So 4 changes for the Rangers, 3 in the batting order, and a new pitcher, Jeff Russell.
And hacked at as only Pena can to Sierra. Almost couldn't reach that. John?
Phillies and the Dodgers. DeJesus with the pitch out, but watch Darren Dalton. He's going to do a day's work in one play here. Brett Butler's the guy he's trying to catch. Pump, pump, pump. Finally, chase him back towards first and get the tag from John Kruk. It's scoreless now in the 3rd. Dodgers still struggling. Back to Gary and Dave.
Remember Dave Valley last year, the Seattle Mariners got in that kind of a pickle and ended up tagging the runner out. Caught stealing 2 unassisted. You don't see that too often.
That's a lot of running for a fullback. 2 down and nobody on, and Luis Rivera. His double came in the 5th inning, led it off and scored. Red Sox are trying to win after having had a 5th inning where they had the bases loaded and nobody out. Ended up scoring just 1 run. Mike Greenwell had the inning ended as he hit into a double play. Sierra throwing out a runner at home. Sierra will not have a play on that one. 2 down, bases empty, and a 1-1 count. Sports Center coming up right after our ball game here in Texas. All the major league scores coming your way with Bob Lee and Dan Patrick. They'll bring you the highlights. The Senior U.S. Open. They'll have a preview of that. That will be upcoming here on ESPN for the first 2 rounds. The Washington Redskins have a signing, and there'll be other football news as well next on Sports Center.
See, the Redskins signed Ripken, so that means his playing streak stopped with the Orioles.
That's right. That ends it, right? He's going to play.
Rippon.
Rippon. Oh, that's okay. Right. 1-1 right at Palmer. Welcome to third base in the ball game for Dean. So Russell retires the side in order. It is a 1-run ball game going to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Rangers will have the top of the order coming up. And they make it up.
Bill Clark at the plate. Howard Johnson dives and backhands it and comes up with a great play. That's the good news. Bad news is Cone, Johnson, and the Mets are down 7-1 in the 5th. Let's get back to Gary and Dave.
You know, Hojo's done a lot of holding it together and getting it done himself. Bottom of the 9th inning here in Texas. Gary Thorne, Dave Campbell, a one-run ball game. The Red Sox have their ace on in relief.
Jeff Reardon moving into the category of all time. Number 2. He's been stuck on that 310 for a while. He had a one-run lead a week ago tonight. Game we did from Chicago. The White Sox tied it, but the Red Sox won it in 10.
Last 2 outings have not been good for him. He's failed in his last 2 save chances. Friday in Minnesota, July 17 in Chicago. Downing sends it back. Strike 1. Downing is accounted for the only run in the ball game, a homer in the 4th.
One thing about the great ones, though, they are able to put the adversity behind them. There is not a relief pitcher alive who saves them all, and the great ones are able to just put it behind them, leave it in the clubhouse, come back out the next day and say, hey, you got me yesterday, but I'm getting you today.
Downing takes the 0-1 pitch inside. Reardon second only to Fingers now. 310 career saves for Reardon, 341 for Raleigh Fingers. Against Texas, he has worked 3 1/3, given up a couple of earned runs. Center field, Brian Downing, did he do it? No! Ellis Burks. A 398-foot fly ball. He needed 400.
You followed the ball. I watched Brian Downing. He was jogging to first with his head down. The hitters know when they've hit him totally on the screws. He hit this ball pretty well, but did not quite get enough of it.
Joe Morgan just aged 3 years on that fly ball. Rafael Palmeiro. Gave it a ride. 1 down. Taken up high, ball 1.
One of Reardon's problems of late is he has been wild in the strike zone. That pitch to Brian Downing was right down the middle, and when you're wild in the strike zone, that means you're getting the ball in the middle of the plate too much.
Behind here, 2 balls, no strikes. Joe Morgan's club 2 outs away from ending a 6-game losing streak, and they haven't won here in 9 games. Foul back. He challenged him 2-1.
Rafael had a fastball up, kind of shook his fist at it as if to say,
Rafael Palmeiro 1 for 4 lifetime against Reardon. Not a lot of at-bats for any of these Texas players against Jeff Reardon. 2-1 count. Left field. Not deep. Mike Greenwell. 2 down.
why is it when Alexander Cartwright, who most of the history books tell us invented baseball, how did he always figure out that the big hitters were always going to come up in the ninth? Seems to be that way. I'm sure they don't, but it always seems like that.
Thank goodness for that. From our viewpoint, not from the Savers' viewpoint. Rangers 4-game win streak on the line as they are down to their final out. Ruben Sierra will be that batter, has taken the 0 for 3. Joe Morgan's team going after their 46th win. They would be 46-48 with a victory. Rick Aguilera leads the American League with 25 saves. Eckersley 24. Brian Harvey 23 along with Reardon. 2-1 Boston. 2 down, nobody on. Up high, ball 1. The Red Sox would just dearly love to get this and then have a day off before they go home. They do not want to go home with that losing streak intact. 1-0 pitch. 101. A lot of baseball being played today. Sports Center will have it all for you. The scores and highlights coming up as soon as we are completed. Bob Lee and Dan Patrick are standing by. A lot of great names in that Senior U.S. Open that you'll see the first 2 rounds of at ESPN, and the Redskins signing. Sports Center's next. 1 ball, 1 strike. Center field should be the ball game. Ellis Burks. Nope, it'll be Greenwell who hauls it in, and that's it. 2-1 Boston.
Gary, we mentioned at the top of the telecast, the Red Sox are not dead yet, but they were pretty close to being comatose. This will give them a lift with the off day tomorrow. They've got to get some top-notch pitching the rest of the way.
Hesketh wins it, 4-1. Boyd the loser, 0-1. Reardon gets his 24th save. For Dave Campbell and all of our crew here in Arlington, Texas, this is Gary Thorne. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Final, Boston over the Rangers, 2-1. Now, Bob Lee and Dan Patrick.